What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another watch list video. Happy Monday. We saw some carnage in the markets today, specifically your semis, the AI hardware, all the good stuff, right? The stuff that we love to trade. It's very obvious, we're in a risk off market, whether that's looking at prior trades, setups not working, setups not even showing up, the market's environment, things like that, money rotating in different places, your dollar up, the yield, 10-year yield, having a nice rally, things like that. It's definitely obvious, we're in that risk off um, area. And I wanted to throw up a little quote here from Clement. Relative strength now is an excuse to eventually become relative weakness. Cash is a position. That's a quote from Clement that I think was great. I just wanted to include that in there. I think it really matches the environment overall, and I just think it was a great quote. Today, personally, I did buy Eli Lilly off the 20-day, super nice washout in the morning. And then you just, undercut and rally that prior low slash the 20-day, right? You see that prior low, 20-day was a pretty good spot. This is where I started buying it. So that was super interesting. Obviously via LLYX, right? Moves faster, about a little over 6 ATR. So that's nice, right? Because semiconductors were weak this morning. Nothing was acting too much. I think that like there were a few software names that could have been buyable, knowing that that group has been showing insane relative strength, whether that's cybersecurity, software, whatever. But the semis, like if you tried to buy some of them, like they just came back on you by the end of the day, right? Like I mean AMD, right? You get the washout, super nice move, and then slowly whole rest of the day kind of comes back on you. Not my favorite, not the best sight to see. So definitely has been nice paying attention to different areas, right? And if you watched last night's watch this video, MOH was on there. This was a nice setup. You're seeing the groups that have had money rotating them, the strongest groups in the last like month, 3 months, whatever, as far as healthcare, even in the last week, right? Healthcare has obviously been a big one, biotech, things like that. Super nice fall through, and these things are acting great, right? You look at the XLV, super nice move up off the 200-day, and you're pulling right into the 10-day with an inside day. It looks like it's trying to build a flag. Looks pretty good. I think you just broke out of all-time highs. So maybe a test that. If not, just overall looks nice. Super nice. Starting to build out here. Looks good, right? Healthcare has been awesome. Money's obviously rotating. You can look at United Healthcare. You can look at ELV, Elevance. You can look at Humana. You can look at Oscar. You can look at GH, right, which is a name I own that looks awesome. Maybe a touch extended from the 50, but overall still looks great, digesting in a super beautiful way. That's super nice. So I will go over the market and everything, but I just want to go over my list first for those that just kind of come here for the watch this video. So AMD, you think about your semiconductor group, right? Maybe it can get a bounce after kind of getting hit pretty hard. You look at SMH, for example, right? You cracked the 50 again, right? You lost it, Tuesday of last week, and we're losing it in a big way this time, really closing on it down. But you still have a shot to build a higher low here. That's super interesting to me. So either way, all these names have kind of been getting hit. You look at Intel, which is still on my list for a pullback into support, continuing to push down here. This is definitely an area where I'd watch for like the double bottom base. Undercut this level maybe in an ugly way and then rally back through it, and you got yourself a nice base. But it's going to take a while, maybe a month or two, for something like this to really continue to build out. So there are some stuff, Marvell even, right, which you get a super ugly close today, which I did throw on the list out of the very few semis that I put on my list besides MU. You got a super nasty close yesterday, which I'm going to watch for maybe a gap down or just a push through, like an oops reversal through today's lows, which tomorrow will be yesterday's lows, or just this support cap. Super interesting spot, right? First real crack of the 50. So can we just undercut it today and then rally back through it tomorrow? This is something I'll be watching as far as like weakness on leading stocks in the last like 3 months. But besides that, I'm not too obsessed with this, right? It's just an idea. I'm not going to just be jumping into it. I'm just going to be monitoring it, seeing how it acts. But AMD has been holding up really well. Kind of a 3-day flag being built. You came to the 20, you held it in somewhat decent way. But this is one I talked about where, that move faded off at the end of the day. So I'll continue to watch it. A flush tomorrow into the gap would be super interesting for me to kind of build that higher low spot. But, either way, I think an inside day tomorrow would be super interesting to make today a higher low off the 20. I think it still looks great. It hasn't even lost its 20-day while the market is below its 50-day, right? You look at the QQQ below the 50-day, losing it today. AMD is holding up just fine. Super nice consolidation. You had an inside week last week. So I think this thing is getting ready to go one of these days. So so for AMD, I'll watch for tomorrow how it acts. If we get a gap up tomorrow, I'll let it trade. Don't really want to chase it, but we'll see how it acts tomorrow. A washout though, like I said. I will watch for like a moving average, undercut, and rally into the support gap. BB, this name's been, or this is software name. It's been holding up really well. And you made a nice move from the earnings gap up, and this is your first pullback since that earnings gap up move. You're right under the prior high, so I think a push above today's highs would be super interesting, which would also line up with that prior high. Had a nice bounce off the 20, did kind of stay red and held like right above it barely. Another one where it's like you get the big washout, you make a big move, and you kind of give back half that move. So not my favorite. Don't know if today was the ideal buy to really buy some of these things. Ideal day to buy some of these things, but BB still looks fine to me. You kind of got that higher low looking hammer candle off the 20-day, so I will like to see some follow through tomorrow above today's highs would be super interesting. CrowdStrike, same exact look. I'm not going to go over this too much. The group's been awesome. I own this name still. Super nice hold of the 20. This is one of the few names that I thought was viable and held up super well, given the fact that it's in a super strong group, right? Cybersecurity. And it's been digesting in a perfect way. Like it hasn't been, giving up too much, right? The market's been getting hammered. This thing's been acting awesome, and it pulled into the 20 today, and that was a really good spot for it. Bounced off of it to an absolute T and held up pretty well. So that was super interesting. The chart looks great. Looks like it could be a higher low setup for tomorrow, watching above the prior day high. Same thing as BB. Datadog, this thing is building out so beautifully here. Nice sideways consolidation. You've been building higher lows. You still held above that Wednesday pivot, it looks like, right? That higher low. And just a beautiful candle today. So an inside day tomorrow, I think this would be a 5-star setup. If not, then just a push above today's highs would be super interesting. Really nice looking setup on this one. I really like this one. The weekly chart looks good. You're building out sideways after a nice move up, right? As you can see on the daily. So it looks awesome. Dell, prior leader, digesting, still a leading stock in my opinion, right? The market's breaking down, it's going sideways. It's exactly what you want to see as far as relative strength. 2 days on super low volume, could view this as a 2D LV setup almost. Shout out to Judah, but yeah, you're still above the 20. It's trying to find a higher low here, so we'll be watching tomorrow, see how it reacts to the 20-day. If it falls into there, inside day tomorrow, or just a push above today's highs would be super interesting. The weekly chart looks awesome, looks pretty good. HPE is also in that sort of Dell kind of space, and I mean, you look at a weekly chart, same thing. Super nice bounce last week, and you're just 2-day low volume kind of set up, and you're just digesting in a super nice way. Volume's drying up, nice little tiny pullback here right under a pivot. So we'll see how this acts. Frog, your software name, another one. You can see the software names kind of all look the same. They're showing massive relative strength. They're digesting in a really nice way. This name's still above its 10-day. It's above its 20-day, and it's putting it inside day today. So I will watch above today's highs for a spot for it to push over. But it's still inside this range, kind of in the bottom part of this range it's building. So continue building out this range would be super interesting. HIMS is in that right group as far as healthcare. If you look at LOY or MOH or any of the other ones I talked about, this name looks really good. Nice pullback to the 20-day, nice inside day. You're right under that pivot that we kind of made a little flag and broke out of. We're just squatting right back under that inside day. Push above today's highs would be super interesting. Another setup I actually really like. And I think this name is digesting above the 200-day in a perfect way, and it's trying to build higher lows and really build that trend. So it's looking pretty nice and pretty promising. Can it work? Let's hope. The group's been nice. Eli Lilly, I think an inside day tomorrow would be awesome. Just getting super tight down here and then pushing up would be awesome. But just to push above today's highs, I'll continue to watch it. But I mean, obviously, I own this name. It's one of my biggest positions right now. It's acting awesome. So I will continue stocking this name. Marvell, I talked about. You get the ugly close. Can we get maybe a gap down or oops reversal or just a rally back through this level? I will be watching. But if you get a big gap up tomorrow, it's not going to be interesting to me because you've gapped down so many times off highs that a gap up into resistance, whether that's into a gap or just overhead supply in general, not my favorite. So just we'll watch it, continue to keep an eye on it. It's below the 50. One of the very few names I left on the list is below the 50, but it's been a monster, and it's really just that first pullback to the 50 since we got back above the 200-day and we really started this whole uptrend. You had the earnings gap up, you went sideways, you made an absolute massive move up. You started to consolidate, build a bit. Are we in the lower part of the space? Are we going to bounce here and build out a big base? And maybe this could be a good spot to sit in this name, position trade it for a while. Maybe we'll see. As far as low risk, right? Definitely something I want to keep an eye on. MU, you look at SanDisk, they got absolutely hammered. With all the DRAM memory stuff, MU held up really well, just into the 50-day bounce, a perfect way, right? You see it come right down to the 50. This morning on the washout, I love the washouts, and then the just the reclaims of VWAPs, the 620 setups. If you get a big enough washout, it can be a nice 620 setup. But either way, just a nice washout in the morning. Just trying to build higher lows here. But it does have a lot of gap downs of height, right? Gap down this morning. And it's something that I also noted about the QQQ is like you had a super nice day on Friday, and then you had a gap down, which was okay, not my favorite, and then you held at the lows. That's what we saw up here, right? Where you had the same thing, a super nice close. The next day we're gapping down, and then we're closing on the lows. And I think SMH is easier and it's more of a better example. Yeah, right here, right? Nice close, big gap down. And you hold on the lows, and that just leads to a continuation of the move down. So maybe SMH needs to see the lows. Maybe it needs the potential for, you know, your double bottom base, whether it's undercutting down here and then coming back up and continuing to build out that right side over here. But I don't know, not my favorite. Like I mentioned on the QQQ, you lose the 50-day once, you kind of come back up and then you lose it again. Not my favorite. It's like how many times you're going to knock on the door before it opens, and in this case you're knocking on the 50-day before we just break down and live below it for a certain period of time. Will be super interesting. Palo Alto, it's in that cybersecurity group, looks good. I don't mind this one at all. Right off the 20-day looks awesome. It's been one of the leading names in this group, and you know, super nice can off the 20. We'll watch for a higher low setup above today's high. Inside day tomorrow I think would be pretty nice, but you know, this name's digesting in an absolute perfect way. Reddit, you get back above the 200, you're finally starting to build out. Would like some more for it to build out more. HIMS definitely been building out a little bit more obviously than your Reddit, but it's in the right group as far as software, and it's above the 200 and it's starting to build out. So I really like that. Inside day today was interesting. It's built a higher low right off the 10-day with an inside day, so it looks super nice. Continue building out here would be super interesting, but I wouldn't be surprised that this thing is pushing over today's highs and wants to get going. So definitely super interesting for me. That's going to be my list for today. Really quick, I'll go over my back burner names. ARM, like I talked about, you're right at support. You lost a 50 again. Is it going to live below it and lose it now? Or is this a spot where it's going to rally right back through? Will be super interesting to see how it opens up in the morning. Intel coming into support. Definitely want to keep an eye on it. NBIS, right? It's been a big leading name. It's kind of building like a three. I can't tell if it's a, you know, you get the big undercut and rally, which could be the possibility for a double bottom base. If it can just get up here above the 50 and build that right side, I would be super bullish on this name. But I mean, you get 3 days kind of looking like a flag here. If you go to an hourly chart, I don't know, but you know, can we just push out, get back above the 50? That's just what I really want to see for this one. The group's not been the best, right? I'm not even going to look at the WGMI. It has not been very good. Band, it's been holding up super well. Software name looks good. Just needs more digestion for me to trade this, but it has been acting a hell of a lot better compared to the rest of the market or just the rest of any stocks. MXL, it's building a big base here. It's built, you know, it built a higher low here. It's trying to build higher lows over here. Looks okay. Just needs to continue building out that right side, and I think it can look really good. Get back above the 50 as well, right? Looks not bad. Hood is another name you can throw on the list, right? You're above the 200, you're slowly digesting. Did break, you know, had a bearish engulfing on Friday while the market was up, and then it was down again today. So inside day looks like it might want to push lower, but you know, it's right at a gap. Is it going to lose that and fall into the 200-day and possibly build a higher low over there? Maybe, or is it going to build a higher low here? I don't know. Have to see how it trades tomorrow. But, you know, I like the weekly chart. Give an inside week. Continue building out here would be super interesting for sure. Just, you know, continue building out this right side is what I'm watching. RBRK, same thing. It's in the right group. It's building out. Looks good. Twist, if you want to look at your biotech names, you know, you've been a big trending stock, your first pull really into the 20-day, and you kind of get like 4 days tight. I don't know if this is like a little mini bear flag it's building after a breakdown, or if this is like your higher low spot where you get an inside day and I'm just watching for a push. But it looks pretty good. There's a bunch of names like Okta. I'm not going to go through these too much, but Okta doesn't look too bad. FTNT obviously right under a new high, looks pretty good. Snow looks awesome too. Inside day. Frog, I did throw this on the list. It looks good. Sandus, I will continue to keep an eye on the king of the market. Are we going to get a gap up in the after hours with your Kospi? NBIS I talked about. CSCO, right? Cisco, nice inside day today. I had some nice strength right out the 50-day. Built a higher low. Looks pretty promising, right? And the weekly chart looks good. And you know, you're getting your Kospi is actually fading any bounce it just made. But that's going to be it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.